And then you're looking at places, I'm sure there are people out there who are landlords in places like Mtendere itself, Kwamwena, Ndeke, Vona Valley. The Kwamwena that I'm talking about is near Mutumbi, Ngombe, SOS East, You're a landlord in that area. So people will receive water supply in those areas. We are not taking sanitation services in places like Kwamwena, Ndeke, Vona Valley, Ngombe, SOS East, all those part of Chazanga. All these areas are going to receive these interventions. I think for me, it's a great delight that we are taking dignity to our people, but at the same time improving water supply, sanitation, and drainage. I mean, the drainage system has already been talked about by our brother Bismarck, our engineer, who is in charge of the drainage system. It's important. I think it's raining now. I can see that around ZNBC area, you're already working on the drain there. Working on the backbone drain is really going to reduce the burden of flooding, especially in the Central Business District. This is a critical intervention. But aside those infrastructure interventions, there are softer issues that we need also not to forget.
What are some of those?
We are supporting Lusaka Water and Sewerage Company. I must mention that we are not implementing this project as a competitor to Lusaka Water. No, Lusaka Water is an implementing entity, for water supply and for sanitation services. So we are working with them. The Lusaka Water engineers are always talking to our engineers, reviewing designs together, reviewing procurements together, because ultimately, 5 years when we are done, Lusaka Water will continue. So that's why we are working with them. So there is an element of institutional strengthening under the project, where we need to work with Lusaka Water so that there are issues of sustainability that we need to handle. But it's the same with Lusaka City Council. They are the custodians, of the infrastructure in the city of Lusaka. So we are also working with them, and the engineers from Lusaka City Council, the town clerk, the mayor, are involved in the process of consultation, but also in implementing this project.
Okay, so those are part of the messages that are, rolling out to the people.
Yes.
To the beneficiaries. Now, I wanted to find out, the most important messages that you need to get across as the project, gets off the ground.
Yes.
What are those?
Number one, the project is coming. And we've been engaging the communities. And one of the unique aspects of this project is that we've been preparing the communities and the people. We've been talking about it. And I know some people may be saying, but you've been talking about this. When are you starting? It's good to prepare people. The advent of this project of this magnitude in specific communities will bring in benefits. But there are also dangers to our children. Dangers also to just community members. So people need to be aware that these works are going to happen in their communities. We're also informing people about the benefits that are going to accrue as a result of this project. But also, there are other things that people need to remember. Mtendere, for example, I'm giving an example, is already built up. And the designs are done in such a way that we're going to minimize obstructions to infrastructure or damage to infrastructure. We're trying as much as possible not to resettle people, but some people are bound to be affected. And the process of resettlement has already started. So there are certain properties that have already been marked in a number of places, that I've already mentioned where we're going to have these interventions. So we are going to tell the people, and we are telling the people in these communities, if your property has been marked, don't build anything else. Because if you do, you won't be compensated for the extra work. So you stand to lose. We also talk, apart from safety and compensation issues, and we are telling the people that, we've been giving you this promise that we are coming, and some you feel you're tired listening to us, and we sound like a broken record talking about the project. The reason we keep on talking about this project is that people must be prepared, because it's going to be massive infrastructure development with a lot of traffic disruptions, community disruptions. So people need to work with us, because we are working with the community, not just for the community. So we need their critical participation.
Dr. Kunda, who are the target audience for this project, considering that it does not cover the whole Lusaka? You've given example of Mtendere, and the other guests have talked about Mtendere. So
yes.
The target audience.
Yeah, the target audience are, of course, the residents of Lusaka. Kesha, even you are my target audience, because I know you drink water, and you are absolutely going to benefit. Rehabilitating a Yolanda treatment plant in Kafue in itself, you can't segregate who's going to receive the increased output. The residents of Lusaka will see dramatic change in terms of water supply That is for sure. So they're also our target audience, and we're telling them that yes, there are challenges now that Lusaka Water and Storage Company is facing in supplying water, sometimes maybe reduced number of hours, but the picture is going to change. So people must look out. And also we are telling them that, look, this is a grant, this is not a loan. This is supported by the American government in partnership with the Zambian government. That is one. But also specifically, the other target audience, are the people in the specific communities. Aside Mtendere, we've talked about Ngombe. We've talked about Maziopa, where they are at the end, of the drainage system itself. So there are dangers that may accrue as a result of improved drainage system within the city of Lusaka. We're also talking to government, because government is a partner. They are the ones implementing, but we also need to be accountable to them. They are our fathers. They are the owners of the infrastructure. They are supporting this project, and we really are very grateful to government. As Minister of Finance, Mr. Alexander Chikwanda did mention, Honorable Chikwanda said, good governance is good for the project, because this is what the project also demands. And the government really has been very supportive. So we keep them informed on the status of the project and what we're actually doing, because we need to be accountable. The American people are also our target. That's why we're reaching them through various means. So people in the corridor of impact, people who are going to be affected by this project, residents of Lusaka, all these are our target audiences. Lusaka Water and Storage Company, Lusaka City Council, our stakeholders, the media. Because the media needs to communicate accurately. Yeah, and that's why we are talking about it. We have sectors, at Millennium Challenge, and our Chief Executive Officer, Mrs. Wali, has been talking about the health benefits and economic benefits that are going to accrue, as a result of this investment. Yes, for example, you've cited Mtendere, yes, and people are using pit latrines. What this project is going to do is raise the dignity of our people. Because pit latrines are a health hazard, not only to the people but also to our groundwater resources. So we need to protect that. We are going to be communicating to the communities. Already we are working with, WhatsApp, which is water supply for urban poor. We're working with people like Ruben. And the reason we're working with these people is under the social and gender, assessment sector, we want to involve IEC, information, education, and communication component. So WhatsApp is doing a baseline to understand the behaviors and the current knowledge levels that are obtaining in the communities. So using that, a strategy will be developed where we'll continue talking to the communities. But let me say, Cassius, as we've been going into these communities, we've already been talking about these issues. We had a meeting in December at the Catholic Church in Mtendere, where we raised some of these issues. And we were talking about the transition. We were talking about solid waste management. I was driving towards Mtendere area, and a minibus that was ahead of me, somebody in that minibus threw a plastic bag, full of rubbish, bottles and stuff like that. I stopped and picked up that plastic bag and drove and followed the minibus and decided to give them the plastic bag. Because what we need is a change of mindset. It's a social cultural change that it takes time, but you and I need to take that burden on ourselves so that we encourage each other to change. So the people in the project sites and just the people in Lusaka will be communicated to in various forms through that particular strategy in order to see that there is that transition, and that support. So we are also going to use the same communities to take the message across so that there is behavior change.
I wanted to find out your approach. How are you handling this? Have you encountered any resistance from the communities you are working in? For example, people not being willing to do some of the things you are requesting.
Cassius, the way so far we've started, maybe it's because we started engaging with communities quite early on. Our Environment and Social Performance Directorate had set up public consultations, about 22 meetings in all the corridors of impact. So we went around these corridors, and one of the meetings had about 350 people in attendance. And we were talking about this particular project in order to prepare people to receive the intervention. There's been great support, really. We haven't experienced protests or people coming to scream in our offices or people being chased from this project site. So far, we've had very good support. I think it's because of the cardinal nature, the importance that is attached to water supply, sanitation, and drainage. I think what we are hearing from the community is that they are anxiously waiting for us to go. They feel that probably we are delaying, but we are telling them that, look, there are a lot of designs that need to go into this, a lot of precaution that needs to be taken, just a lot of investigation as well, a lot of planning, so that by the time you are implementing the project, it is solid and it's in place, and that it will be sustainable for a long time to come. And I can assure you that even with land, we've had very good responses from people, because I think they do realize that this is for the common good. This is for the benefit of over 1.2 million people in the city of Lusaka. Who would want to resist this?
It's actually their own benefit action. What about the issue of payment for these services?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, again, it goes back, I think, within a cultural change mindset. But I'm glad to tell you, Cassius, we had a meeting. Well, we were two meetings in two communities. And one of the questions, because we're also worried that, you want to solve a problem by bringing in another problem, where you give people water supply, and when they draw dirty water from a shallow well, they don't pay for it. But in the way, people don't realize that they pay for it in another way, because if you get sick, you've got to go to the hospital, you've got to go to the clinic, there's transport, there are fees that are involved. So you pay in one way or the other. When we asked the community members, the one thing they told us is that, look, we are able to build these pit latrines. We are also able to put septic tanks and soakaways in our homes. Those are expensive. So we've been anxiously waiting for this to come through. So people feel they are ready to pay. And working with Lusaka Water, and Sewerage Company, there is a sanitation marketing campaign. And I think we need also to continue that campaign, so that we conscientize our people that, every service needs to be paid for. Because when you pay for it, then that money is reinvested. So far, I think the response has been very positive.
How accessible are you as Millennium Challenge Account Zambia? Much as you want to take the information to the people, there are certain people that would want to come get the information by themselves.
Open door policy. If you, Cassius, working in this project has really taught us a lot of things. One of the things is that you need to be transparent. You need to be open, and you need to be fair. So we give people the opportunity to come and find information for themselves. I think a number of people who've been to our offices will agree that there's always someone to attend to their questions. So people can visit us. We are off at Sababa Drive, to stand number 1200 off Tuikatani. It's just near Manda Hill here. Next, the Stanbic head office. Others know Zebra Cafe. That's where we are. Our chief executive officer has made it very clear. We are here to serve the people, and therefore we must be available to the people. If they want, they may visit our website, and our website is up to date. We have information that they need. If they want contact details, telephone numbers, they are there, and we will pick up calls. We will respond to the concerns of the people.
How is MCA Zambia empowering the two implementing entities, the Lusaka City Council and the Lusaka Water and Sewerage Company, to continue with the effective communication and outreach activities?
How are we working with them? As I said, it's not like they're a separate entity that is existing outside our ambience. No, I think these are people that we are working with from the beginning. The town clerk himself, the mayor. We talk about the managing director of Lusaka Water. I'm always in touch with Topsy, and we always sit in interviews together. George Ndongwe, Topsy Kalinda. We're working together with Yvonne, who is in the peri-urban sector, or Kennedy Mayumbelo. So what I'm saying is that if you came to Millennium Challenge, you will notice that there is this, working together with Lusaka City Council as well as with Lusaka Water and Sewerage Company. The reason we're doing that is that we are here to support them, to support them in the work, in the noble work that they do. Hence, we are working together. We've actually come up even with a technical working group where we are meeting, like Havenzu, and Mulonda Havenzu, yes, and Gilbert Sendama, who is the director of engineering, also is in the picture. So what is interesting at this technical working group is going to be looking at the communication strategies, that these two entities have, and working together and speaking with one voice, because ultimately our goal is to improve the city of Lusaka. That is our goal. come 2018 when we're gone, these will remain. But we don't want to leave them limping. They will have the capacity to continue, the good work.
I wanted to find out how often you get to mingle with the communities, for them to know, update them how you are moving in this 5-year program.
Oh yeah, I mean, we have developed a program where we are visiting communities, and we've just started another cycle of meetings. First stage is to meet the leaders, and we've been meeting the leaders from these communities. I mean, we've been with the leader of the Council of Maziopa and the community leaders. We met them late last year, somewhere in December. We have met Mtendere and the leaders on several occasions, and I think the councillor under there will be able to vouch for us. So we've developed a calendar. So we'll be going back to all these communities. We'll be going to Chazanga, we'll be going to Ngombe. We've been already to Ngombe, but we need to go back there. We need to go to Kwamwena, Ndeke, Vona Valley. Though in Ndeke, not everyone is yet moved there. But we found a way to communicate with these people and to talk to them. We need to constantly engage them. And we have a deliberate program. We're also going into schools. There's a deliberate program to go into schools, to engage our young people, to talk about issues of water supply, sanitation and drainage, and where this money is coming from, but also encourage, proper waste disposal, keep Lusaka clean, and also just encourage them to be good citizens. Because I think ultimately we want to achieve the interests of the common good within the city of Lusaka.
So this project, in short, is saying is going to improve the water reticulation system in the city of Lusaka.
Yes.
And they need your support as much as you need.
Absolutely, we can't do it without them. They are our key stakeholder. The other people I didn't mention were the cooperating partners. So we're working with World Bank, we're working with American government, USAID, we're working with the different entities that are involved also in water supply. The reason we're cooperating with all these other partners is because $355 million US, which was given for this particular project, is not enough to cover every aspect of Lusaka. So you see, like already Lusaka Water is talking, with the World Bank. I think there is a 250 million, sanitation program that they are discussing. So we would like to see more cooperating partners come, because there's a master plan. They should come, have a look at the master plan and find an area where they can also put in their support.
Well, a massive project it is, and just hoping that it can be spread throughout the country someday.
I'm cautious. We shouldn't close our hope, because what we are doing is Nidionko. Nidionko. And the reason is Dionko tawe kuta. Tawe susha kapu muli Dionko. Tima funika uzindikira kuti zabu sisi makoma forever. So what we are hoping is that this model and the implementation style of this model can be replicated, that even the focus can be replicated. With the master plans that are in place for Lusaka, we are hoping that, I'm sure the Germans are working in Chipata, we are hoping that even within the entire country, people can learn lessons from this particular project, because we are providing a plan and we are providing a model. And I hope this model can be replicated in the city of, in the country, so that other partners come on board and support us.
Before I let go of you, Dr. Vakunda, Director Communications and Outreach.
Yes.
In conclusion, probably you want to add on one or two.
I'm truly first and foremost going to thank the team, talent and commitment. People are working long hours, from the chief executive officer, the deputy CEOs, the specialists, the guys at the reception, the guys in the corridors, people work together as a team. For me, I would really want to appreciate that particular level of effort. But I would like to thank the American government, through the Millennium Challenge Corporation, for the support that they've given through this grant. It's not a loan, it's a grant. The government of the Republic of Zambia has been amazing in terms of supporting in many ways. Every time we've had logistical hurdles, apart from giving us the infrastructure and the resources that we need, they've been absolutely supportive. The people in the communities that we've visited, my brother, I'm not just cajoling people. I have been in communities. Boots on, we've gone into these communities. It's been amazing. The resident country director, Steve Mama and the team, Gigi Goodhart and Ajorwe and all those people, what more can you require in order to fully implement this project? It's the massive support that we have. So I'd like to thank the people, here in Lusaka, and please look out for Millennium Challenge Account Zambia. We are coming to your communities. We need your support.
Director, it's been wonderful having you on the show. Hoping I can call you after the 5-year program again so that we get to talk about the benefits after the project has ended.
I look forward to that call. I promise you, I'm sure when we look back after 5 years, we'll be able to say, job well done.
Right, sir. Happy New Year, and thank you for coming through.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. So
Cheers.
there you have it then, Director Communications, Millennium